Ladies and gentlemen, for your own safety, please keep all luggage and personal belongings secure inside your saddle.
On September 6, 2013, I was super excited to fly from Chennai to Bengaluru. After getting my US visa approved, I decided to catch a taxi from fast track service to the airport. Things got strange when the driver suddenly stopped the car near the airport and told me he had urgent work. He asked me to take an auto rickshaw the rest of the way. Feeling confused and annoyed, I went into the airport. That's when things got even weirder. The security people checked my suitcase with a special machine, and it showed something about cocaine, which really surprised me. I didn't know what to do. After that, I went through the usual security checks, but I couldn't shake off the weird feeling. Eventually, I decided to tell one of the security officers about the strange taxi driver and showed him the receipt the driver gave me. The security officer was really thankful for the information. Later, he came back and told me something shocking. The driver had hidden cocaine in the car. I was shocked and scared to think what might have happened if I hadn't said anything. This whole experience made me realize how important it is to trust your gut and be careful, even in ordinary situations like catching a taxi. It's a scary reminder that bad things can happen when you least expect them. Stay safe, everyone. In 1976, I found myself on a flight from Washington, D.C. to St. Louis, Missouri in the late afternoon. Back then, boarding airplanes was a much simpler process with fewer checks and balances in place. As we boarded, the flight attendant mentioned a delay due to mechanical issues, which seemed routine enough. However, what struck me as odd was the sudden request for picture IDs and destination confirmation. Once in the air, we encountered a severe thunderstorm, causing the plane to lurch and sway violently. The turbulence was so intense that even babies started to cry. To my horror, the flight attendant approached me and requested my upchuck bag for the pilot. It was a surreal moment of panic as I imagined the worst case scenarios. Then came the announcement from the pilot that we needed to descend to a lower altitude to escape the storm. The descent felt like a sudden drop, similar of an elevator plunging from the 30th floor. I couldn't help but question the pilot's experience in handling such turbulent conditions. We eventually emerged from the storm unscathed. However, the experience left me with lingering questions. Why the heightened security measures and sudden illness of the pilot? And why weren't the cabin crew equipped with their own upchuck bags? Although the flight turned out okay in the end, it was a harrowing experience that made me acutely aware of the uncertainties of air travel. It served as a reminder to always trust my instincts and remain vigilant, even in seemingly routine situations. This next story is in a point of view of a woman. In late November 2016, I found myself at Munich airport during a stopover on my way home to Milan. What should have been a brief layover turned into a nightmare, as my flight was continuously delayed. By the time I landed in Milan, it was past midnight, despite a nagging feeling of unease. As I made my way to the central station, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. At the bus stop, a sketchy guy made me uneasy, but I boarded the bus nonetheless. The atmosphere inside was eerie, only a few passengers, mostly silent men, and two intoxicated women. Upon reaching my stop, I decided to walk home. The streets were unusually deserted, adding to my discomfort. Approaching my apartment building, I noticed a man walking towards me, a silent approach, sending shivers down my spine. Though I tried to engage him in conversation, he remained silent, unnerving me further. Reluctantly, I unlocked the door, allowing him to enter behind me. As I hurried up the stairs, I sensed his presence lingering below. Fumbling with the lock, I desperately tried to gain entry. Fearing the worst, I couldn't reach anyone by phone. I managed to connect to Wi-Fi and alert my roommate with trembling hands. I finally gained entry and sought refuge inside. Terrified and unsure of the man's intentions, we hesitated to investigate further. When the police arrived, the man had vanished without a trace. Though nothing came of the incident, the lingering fear stayed with me, a reminder of the dangers that lurk in the darkness. In hindsight, I couldn't help but wonder about the man's intentions. Perhaps he was merely a lost soul seeking shelter. However, the thought of what could have been sent chills down my spine. If he had been a predator, I would have been utterly defenseless. Despite the unsettling experience, life eventually returned to normal. Yet, the memory of that eerie encounter lingered,